Hey y'all, in this video we're going to go over how I use the triple crochet to create a decorative border using these holes. It's great for things as border in shawls, blankets, anything like that. It just kind of adds a little bit more interest to a pattern when you have a giant chunk of the same thing. You can kind of throw this on the end. But we'll go ahead and get started. It's a pretty quick tutorial. There's not too much to it. It's just a matter of getting the count and then creating these holes. So I'll be using 13 stitches. I found 10 stitches and then counts of 3 off of that work for this, so that you kind of find yourself ending at the end on that very last loop. But again, we'll get started and show y'all how to do it. Alright, to get started, we're just going to make that slip stitch. And we will chain 13. And then 1 to turn. And then for this one, I'm just going to go through this top loop. Generally in these foundation chains, it doesn't matter if you go through the top 2, through the back. It changes the pattern you'll see on the bottom here, but I'm not going to fuss with it too much, so we'll just have this single loop instead of maybe that braided look if you were going through the back loop. Alrighty, and then to kind of create the border look, I'm going to go ahead without chaining, flip it over, and I'm just going to go through this first row with single crochets. It's not necessary, I just kind of want it to look like there is a wall. Between my triple crochets. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over, and then I'm going to be using the straight edge method. So I'm going to single crochet into that very first stitch. I'm going to come into this left bar, single crochet a second time, and then come into the left bar again and single crochet a third time to build up that wall for my triple crochet. And I'm actually going to mark this since it's going to get a little bit tedious to count. So that is going to be my first stitch. Now what I will do is chain 2, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, and in this third stitch I'm going to put my triple. So I'll yarn over twice, come through here, yarn over and go through 2, through 2, through 1. And I'm going to repeat that pattern to the end. So chain 2, yarn over twice, and I will skip 1, 2, and come in that third stitch. We'll chain 2 again, yarn over twice, 1, 2, 3, and finally we're going to chain 2, yarn over twice, and go in 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be our triple crochets, leaving these gaps here. Now what I want to do is come through, single crochet into that very first stitch. Notice I didn't do a chain 1 to turn. And I'm going to come and single crochet through each of these. These chaining ones are going to be a little bit of a pain. Probably easier to get through these by going through that back loop. Oop. And then flipping over. So we want to make sure we still single crochet on the top there. Good Lord. It's not even trying. It probably doesn't help that this crochet hook is plastic. Alrighty, and then we have our marked last stitch. And we can make sure we have kept our count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 at the very end. And so that's going to be the pattern. You do have the option, you could add a second row of single crochets. You could keep building off of this, so after the next one, add more holes and just make something like a scarf. Or I find when using kind of decorative holes such as these, I like to add them to blankets and such as a border to just kind of change up the general pattern of the blanket itself. Or even on any shawls, you'll just have a little bit of, I wouldn't say elegance, but a little bit of interest within the pattern. But I hope that y'all enjoyed that and you find interest in it. Like and subscribe to get more updates on patterns, stitch tutorials, etc., etc.